Okay. Los Angeles. To those who have never been, it is a place of sunshine, beautiful women, and a land of golden opportunity. This is only a mirage, though, and behind the dream is a dark city where the police officers are criminals, and the rich are kept wealthy only because of the cheap labor provided by the struggling working class. But the city's true nature has not been turned a blind eye completely. Filmmakers have strived to create art that sheds light on the city's problems. These are films like Sunset Boulevard, Blade Runner, and Collateral. The list goes on. These films debunk LA, meaning expose the city for its racism, class conflict, and corruption through formal and narrative elements of film noir. And as you can see here, these films, there's a couple of decades in between them when they're made. It kind of shows that these themes and criticisms of LA's corruption is constant. So there's this constant repetition being brought through generations of film. And not only does, film debunk LA, but also television shows, such as shows like Veronica Mars. So Veronica Mars is a film noir detective crime television series that debunks Los Angeles by addressing the city's issues, such as class conflict and the corruption within the police force. So before I dive into that, let's take a look at what is film noir. Because film noir is an important element that is a key used to portray these criticisms of Los Angeles. And film noir, it's not a genre, but a compilation of formal and narrative elements. Some of these elements include narrative elements, like voiceover narration, a brooding protagonist, or often anti-hero. They don't have a defined line between, they're like stuck with their morality. They're always usually smoking and alcohol, the loss of morality, like I was saying with the anti-hero, with a brooding protagonist. And there's the femme fatale, the sexy but deadly woman. And often film noir has down endings. So some of the formal elements are black and white film, low lighting and silhouettes, jazz music, window blind shadows, creating a feeling of imprisonment. So Janie Place states this about film noir in her article, Woman in Film Noir. The dominant worldview is expressed in film noir is paranoid, claustrophobic, hopeless, doomed, predetermined by the past without clear moral or personal identity. So Veronica Mars uses these film noir elements to portray a more realistic image of LA and to exhibit its class conflict. So often the film noir hero is an alienated and solitary individual. Their tie to the law is by social means. This is very true with the heroine Veronica, because she used to hang out with the wealthy kids. She used to be in their group. But when her best friend Lily is murdered, her father, Veronica's father, who at the time worked for the police force, he suspects Lily's father, Jay Kane, the most wealthy man in the city, one of the most wealthy men in the city, as the culprit, as the murderer. But there's not enough evidence to prove it, and he's mocked by the city for accusing such a man of high power. And Veronica is also dating Lily's older brother, Duncan, and instead of siding with Duncan and the Kane family, Veronica stands by her father. And so for that, she is outcasted by the rich kids. So Veronica is this isolated individual. She sits alone at the lunch table and keeps to herself. Her life revolves around solving cases that come into her father's now private detective office. Although, in the pilot episode, she begins building relationships with a variety of social groups. For instance, Wallace, the new kid at school, becomes her sidekick when she cuts him down from a pole that he was taped to by a Mexican gang. And Veronica later befriends the same gang and helps them when they get into a predicament with the rich kids, and they also help her in return. So, going back to that, she has no ties to the law, but through these social groups who do, that is her connection with society. She doesn't belong to a certain group. Rather, she hops around. Okay, so understanding class conflict in LA and in Veronica Mars is like understanding this concept of the gated community. And as early as the 1920s, LA boosters sought to promote whiteness in the city. So, real estate was one of the most influential boosters because it promoted the American dream, this idea of having your own private space, because they were trying to congregate a white demographic. And it worked. There was this white flight from the city. So all these upper class and middle class white citizens fled the city into this into suburban life, into this life of isolation. And without the taxes from the rich, the city went to waste. And not only that, but these people who fled, these the rich refused to put taxes towards the construction of the city. So then there became this construction of gated communities to keep certain groups out. And security guards, oh my gosh, my throat is so dry. I'm sorry, give me a second here. Okay, so security guards roam the streets for unwanted trespassers. And so I have this quote here from the City Courts book by Mike Davis, and it says, community in Los Angeles means homogeneity or race, class, and especially home values. Hopefully I said that right. Community designations, i.e., the street sign across the city identifying areas as Canoga Park, Homely Hill, Silver Lake, and so on have no legal status. In the last analysis, they are merely favors granted by city council members to well-organized neighborhoods or businessmen's groups seeking to have their areas identified. So they established these specific names for these communities, so people wouldn't forget who these communities belong to, and the gates signifying only this community can get in here. So the Canoga Park, okay, that's where all the white people live, and then the ghetto, that's where all the black people belong, and then Bunker Hill, that's where all the homeless people belong. It's like categorizing and separating these groups of people depend on their race and their class. And it's not just that, but these councilmen and citizens went as far as to keep out the homeless. They had bus benches were intentionally designed to be uncomfortable to sleep on. And, at night, the sprinklers would come on in parks to keep people from sleeping in there too. And all sorts of things. But just take a look at this bench here, and you can see it's kind of ironic because it says "Welcome to our city," but really what needs to be attached there is "Welcome to our city. If you have money, if not, then get out, because we don't want you, obviously, because we don't want you sleeping on our benches or digging in our trash." So this idea of the gated community is presented in Veronica Mars, and let's take a look at a clip to see how it's incorporated into the show. So I'm going to have to I apologize, I don't know how good the sound quality is going to be, so I suggest turning up your volume. Let's see. Here we go. Alright, let's take a look at this and see how the gated community is exhibited in Veronica Mars.
What about you, Wallace? Your life still a non-stop Nelly video?
Hey, at least I want my life to be a non-stop Nelly video.
What do you propose?
This. I found this on the floor in gym.
You want to crash an 09er party?
Maybe. I don't know what an 09er is.
It's someone who lives in the prestigious 90909 zip code.
Look, you can't even tell who's throwing it. You don't know when it starts, where it is, or nothing.
It's because it's all in code. The moons tell you it starts when it gets dark.
Oh.
The hourglass indicates sand, which means it's the beach. The K's and the 9s tell you it's more specifically Dog Beach.
And the little eggs?
Friday. It's in code, so undesirables, which, by the way, is you and me, don't show up.
How do you know all this?
So I used to be one of them.
Okay, so that's a perfect example of gated community, except on a smaller scale. The invitation, obviously, to this beach party, it's a special code to keep unwanted people out, as Veronica stated. And it just goes to show this great divide between these upper class high schoolers and the lower class, and so there's also another great example in here that shows this divide between not only class but also race. And take a look here at this clip. Let me get to it here. Okay. So this next clip, one of the members of the Mexican gang, what's his name? His name's Chardo. That was close. Okay, so Chardo here steals everyone's credit cards and to take out and spoil this rich girl, Caitlin, who he is, secretly going out with. And Caitlin is already in an established relationship with Logan, another upper class high schooler. So Chardo is about to propose to Caitlin to run away, and this is her response. Almost there, I promise. Okay. Perfect.
Girl?
Confess. It's good for the soul.
What?
Moron says what?
What?
Wait a minute, I lied. It's up here more. Oh, perfect. Okay, here it is.
I'm outside. This is it. It's time to go. It's what we talked about. Caitlin, look outside your window. I'm here. What's wrong, baby? Is everything okay?
Yeah, that's right. Well, if it isn't the bad apple thinking he can steal my girl.
I already stole your girlfriend. You're just too dumb to know it.
Check it out, man.
Sweet music, huh?
Hold him.
Don't move.
Well, I guess this is what they call inevitable, huh? Hey, look. We even got home court advantage.
Let's talk.
What's up with that, man? This is what you looking to talk about. Better. Let him go. Logan, I said let him go. Come on. Let's go, man. Let's go.
You're the man. You know what I'm saying? You're there for me, boys. I like that. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? Most of all, you, man. I'm sorry you had to take the fall. I was gonna get you out. You and me, we're brothers. You're out. Out of the club. Out of my life. You know what that means. Weevil, come on, cuz. Hey, let me make it up to you. Eli! Eli! Hold them off before they go too far. Got it, bro.
Okay, so it makes it pretty clear. So, and as we saw there, all of the upper class rich kids, you know, all the other rich kids are white. It's their white community. It's very, this whole like scene is very like black and white. It's very straightforward. You've got this, you know, this gang, this Latino gang, obviously lower class, and so there's just like this great conflict going on, this constant conflict going on between them throughout the show. But as we saw there, once Caitlin was found out of having an affair, a secret relationship with Chardo, she automatically just dropped him because she didn't want to be associated with someone of a lower class status than her. So, not only does Veronica Mars touch on this class warfare in LA, but it also criticizes the police force. But where did this criticism come from? Well, in the late 1990s, there was the Rampart scandal. In the Rampart Division in Los Angeles, it was discovered that over 70 police officers were convicted for misconduct, which included stealing and dealing drugs, unprovoked shootings and beatings, and setting up false evidence. Of course, Rafael Perez, the first police officer to be caught stealing 6 pounds of cocaine, set up some officers, but roughly 50 officers faced penalties after evidence was supported. So after this incident in the 90s, it became very hard for the city to trust its own police force. People wanted to know what was justice. You know, was there ever such a thing as a pure sense of morality. And the police in Veronica Mars, they are portrayed as lazy, uncaring, and unintelligent. So let's take a look at this clip here. Clip time! Oh, this is what I want. Okay. So in this scene, Veronica went to this party to... Dang it, is that too far? Oh, no. It's actually perfect. So she went to this party, this rich kid party, just to show... This was after she was outcasted, to show she's not afraid of what they think of her. And she's drugged through her drink. And she is raped and loses her virginity. So she goes to report the crime to the sheriff, which is the office where her father used to work at. But after the Kane case, as you know, they let him go. And he was mocked for criticizing J. Kane. So let's go ahead and pick up. Perfect. Again, turn your volume up in case you can't hear. Well, you will, but it's just going to be kind of quiet. I apologize.
Veronica, what happened to you? I need to report a crime.
Is there anyone in particular you'd like me to arrest, or should I just round up the sons of the most important families in town? I've got not a shred of evidence to work with here, but that really doesn't matter to your family now, does it? Look at this. She cries. I'll tell you what, Veronica Mars, why don't you go see the wizard? Ask for a little backbone. When we find them, they've still got 20 bottles stuffed in their pockets. They say they bought the beers, but we've got it all on tape, so.
Your Honor, can we show the tape?
Let's see it.
All right, what you're going to see here are the two defendants over there. They enter, and
What are we seeing here, Sheriff?
Your Honor,
Sheriff Lamb, is this one of your officers? Is this how you run your department?
Your Honor, is this an appropriate time to ask for dismissal in People versus Loretta Cancun?
Counsel?
Okay. So we get a sense of the shadiness behind the justice system. And when Veronica sends in the tape, and when Veronica sends in the tape of obviously of a police officer doing something he really shouldn't be doing, and also we get a sense of, you know, when the sheriff's comment about Veronica's pointless report against rich boys, and it shows that money and class status rather than justice is what drives the police force. So, in conclusion, the television show Veronica Mars critiques Los Angeles for its class warfare and corruption within the LAPD. Will Los Angeles ever will it ever resolve these conflicts and become the utopia it claims to be? It can't be made certain, but film will always remind us to never forget these conflicts that continue to shape our society. And that is my presentation. Thank you for watching. Okay, now.